Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside right now?
It's 21 degrees outside.
It cold. Very, very cold. Hello, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to share with you my experience using these. Oh wait, hold up, sorry. These are the Rode Wireless Go lapel microphone set. So for starters, what do you get when you order the Rode Wireless Go system? You obviously get the transmitter and receiver. You get two USB to USB-C cables because that's how they charge. You get two little tiny wind muffs. Stay. And you get one TRS cable as well as one little carry pouch, which I'm able to fit basically all of, well, that. However, I don't usually use this cable. I instead use this cable, which is a TRS to TRRS, as well as my iPhone dongle. I actually use this type of setup for recording sermons at my church. So let me just show you what that setup looks like. So I have the transmitter and the receiver. The transmitter is also the microphone, and if you have a lapel, which I plan to get eventually, then you can plug that into here and the person can just throw this into their, the speaker, or the person you're interviewing can just throw this into their pocket and then clip on the lapel if they so desire, because I'm finding that most people seem to know how to use a lapel instead of just clipping this huge thing, but it's also a little bit chunky, so it's kind of weird to people and people haven't always seen this before. But anyway, you can just clip this onto your person and this is the microphone. Then if you're outside, you can just put on this tiny little wind muff, and it has these tiny little teeth that clip into the holes outside of the microphone. Then I have the receiver plugged into my phone. Then on my phone, I just open up the voice memos app. Then when I use this to record the person speaking, I just put this whole ensemble somewhere near them because the phone is still a microphone in this kind of situation. So this is recording the person speaking, you're getting a little bit more audio, and this should be placed somewhere near them, not near you, because otherwise if you're doing anything, they will also hear what you're doing or commentating on, and that's not good. So let's just go around and go get some samples of how the audio sounds in some different situations. All right, so now I am back out where I shot my drone video, and right now the audio you're hearing is from my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. And then eventually I'll go set up somewhere so I can actually attach the Rode Wireless Go to somewhere on my person, as well as a little lavalier mic that I'm borrowing from my DR10Ls that I usually use for weddings because I haven't ordered the lapel that I feel like is more specifically made for these wireless Go's, which I will link in the description, but just because I feel like they're made more for this set of microphones does not mean that you need that specific microphone to connect to the Rode Wireless Go's. Just need a lapel mic that can plug in should you decide to use a lapel with these. Alright, so now the audio you're hearing is coming from the Rode Wireless Go. I have it clipped here just because this is the most convenient. I would clip it more up here because that's usually where you'd want to clip it, but I'm sure it's picking up my voice just as fine. I also just really want a reason. I mean, even if I did have it plugged in, it's cold, okay? But if you want to go back and listen to audio of my Rode Wireless Go, you can hear that. But to be fair, because I was walking back in the snow, crunching, we're just going to pick this up and I'll just go walk around in some snow and you can deal with all the crunching noises that you might hear over the road, over this mic, should you decide to use it for vlogging, which in case you did want to use it for videos, it severely reduces the size of your setup, because instead of having the giant puffball microphone sitting on top of your camera, which makes your camera look a little bit more invasive. You just have this tiny little square, and the receiver is the same size as this guy, that it just sits on top of your camera and it records the audio. So now I'm going to plug a lapel into here. It's so cold. Okay, so now I'm using the tiny little mic from my DR10L. Now I do have this plugged into my other receiver, plugged into my camera, which might have a different sound, or might produce a different sound than it would if I plugged it into my phone, which I will do just so you can kind of like compare all the things. There is a wind muff that you can put on top of these that I've showed you already, but like it's not super windy out here right now, so there's not really much point for me to put it on. If it were a little bit windier, I might, but because it's so gosh dang cold, I just want to get this video over with. Anyway, we're going to hook this up to my phone so you can compare all the audios. So this is what the audio sounds like when connected to my phone, just because the processing will happen differently, and this is like right in front of my face. I'm going to plug it right back onto my jacket. This is what the audio sounds like, and if you wanted to say use your phone for mobile vlogging instead of having a whole DSLR setup or any form of camera setup, yeah, but anyway, that's what the sound sounds like. One last thing, I feel like that's enough. We're going to keep the audio rolling. I'm just going to plug my lavalier into the mic. Probably something worth mentioning, that I do have the receiver set to like the middle setting. I don't think you can see that, but there's like a triangle in the bottom left corner. But that's the setting I'm going to be using for the indoor test later on. Let's go compare all of these to somewhere much warmer inside. Alright, so now we are inside where we can test all the audio that we want, and we have the outside and inside comparison. Yes, this is a different day. Right now you're hearing the audio of my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. So now we're going to switch over to the audio of these guys after I swap out the microphones in 3, 2, 1. Alright. So now you're hearing the audio of the Rode Wireless Go. Actually, I'm going to clip it onto myself to be slightly more accurate. This might be a slightly unfair comparison, as this is where I would normally clip it on to someone if I were recording them speaking for a sermon and only using the audio coming from these, not necessarily for video, but like if I'm recording it to my phone. But for direct comparison's sake, because I had this lower on my jacket the other day, I'll put it like right, I'm going to have to hold it. So this is like roughly what it sounds like, and this way I can adjust the audio accordingly, so that way they're roughly the same, even though I'm adjusting for outside with a little bit of wind, and in here with like no wind. The only wind that you should be hearing is my fan that I have down here, and quite possibly the washer dryer over in the other room. Now I'm going to plug in the lavalier so you can hear what that sounds like in 3, 2, 1. So now this is what the audio from my DR10L lavalier mic sounds like going into this guy. So this is what it sounds like inside. So now we have that comparison. And now the last thing I have is to plug all of this into my phone, again using the separate cable that I had to buy plus the little iPhone adapter. So we'll switch to that in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so now I have just the microphone bit. It's been a couple days, I've forgotten stuff. Anyway, this is the microphone bit plugged into my phone. My phone is actually sitting right underneath the camera, and again, I'll just plug it right onto my shirt. Actually, you know what? This is audio enough. It's close enough to being clipped on my shirt. I'm going to place it down here because that's, again, where I had it on my coat, roughly. Might have been on my other side, but it's about the same spot. Doesn't matter, really. But that's what that sounds like. So now I'm going to plug in, yet again, the DR10L lavalier mic into here. Then you can hear what that sounds like. Alright, so now the audio is going straight into my lav mic, and that is a small sample of what that sounds like. Am I in focus ever so barely? So that is what all the things sound like, and I think I'm just going to switch back over to my video mic. So I'm going to switch back in 3, 2, 1. So based on my experience with using these. I honestly think the audio of them sounds not too bad. I will say that there is a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to using these microphones, and I would say that the learning curve comes with like what to set the little triangle that's in the bottom left here, because you can adjust how loud it is. You can bring it all the way up or bring it all the way down, and I found that that really only adjusts how loud that the audio is when it comes into the microphone, and it's hard to figure out where to put it based on the person speaking. In my case, it's whoever's speaking at my church, because some people will talk really loud, and by the time I'm putting it through post-production, I have to bring the volume down a little bit so that way it's not peaking anymore. Then there's some people who talk really quietly, and then I have to bring the volume up a bit, but then you're getting all the static. But overall, the quality of the sound that you get out of these, I don't know why I'm still holding this, the audio is coming from there. The quality of the audio that you get out of these is pretty darn good. And the fact that these are really slim and make your entire camera rig smaller and makes recording audio to your phone without just using the straight up built-in microphone very minimal and very small, which I love because it's portable and I can take it anywhere with me. So if we decide to have church outside for whatever reason, then this comes with, and you don't have to rely on always being connected to a soundboard to have pretty decent audio. So if you're thinking about picking these up for just to condense your camera rig or for an easier way to record audio, then I highly recommend that you do. There might be things that are ever so slightly better out there than these, but honestly, these are not bad. So if you have any further questions about these, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to get around to answering them and answer what I can. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can hit a big thumbs up, and you can click all the things in the end card, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!